talking about the depth of self-knowledge in the one hand, and in the other hand, he is testing the knowledge of Janak. Like he's saying that when a person attains self-knowledge, so he has this kind of states. He realizes this, and then he says that how it is possible for a man who realizes this to be to be deluded with by ignorance, by maya. So at the same time, while he was talking about the depth of self knowledge and the knowledge it brings, uh, at the same time he was checking whether Janak had really uh, really attain that depth or not. If he did not attain that depth, he would have he would have deflected into the duality of this world. But and if he had that profoundness, that profound knowledge, the depth of the depth, then his mind will never be deflected into ignorance. So he was saying about the depth of the knowledge, and also trying to see whether Janak had actually attained the depth or not. So that is all about the third chapter, and that is why it's called the test of self knowledge. Means whether you have the test of self realization, that is whether you have realized the self or not. The master is testing you. The master is testing you. So we were here the last in the last day, where we concluded our discussion. We were in this on the eighth verse of the third chapter, and it was iha mutra viraktasya nitya nitya vivekina Ashcharya moksha kamasya moksha deva vivishika. He said that you know it's a it's a it's really surprising. It's really surprising to see that a person who is practicing all the steps which will lead him towards self knowledge. Like when we attain the self, when we attain the self, we need to walk through a path, and the path is the first step of that is discrimination between the real and the unreal. So that is the first one, and that is what it says. uh, Iha mutra viraktasya nitya nitya vivekina, that is discrimination between the real and the non-real. Then having non-attachment with the results of the action which are performed in this world. So all the actions that we perform will have results, and we want to enjoy those results. But Janak says, Astavakra says that if you have if you have non-attachment towards the results of these actions, then this non-attachment will lead you towards the self-knowledge. So the second step is to have non-attachment to the results of your action. Then it talks about the six divine treasures. So what are they? Shama, Sama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shraddha, and Samadhan. This has been very, this has been discussed in details in the last discussion. If you want to check, you can go to the YouTube and find it. We have uploaded that video also. And the last one is mumukshutva, that is the utmost urge to attain liberation. So Janak is saying that it is very surprising that a man who has gone through all this austerity, who has gone through this discrimination between the real and the unreal, and then who has renunciated all the results of his actions, and who is aspiring for salvation. Though he is doing it but at the same time, he's scared of liberation. He doesn't want liberation, though he is doing everything by which one can attain liberation, but he does not want liberation. That is, you know this is a, that means, the mind is very difficult to understand. Our mind our mind which is under the influence of maya, under the influence of ignorance, okay, maya, or this, this matrix, our mind, this mind is very, very difficult to evaluate. You might think that you know your mind, but in reality, you just know a fraction of the tip of the iceberg. You don't know nothing about your mind. We don't know nothing about our mind, because the mind that we know is the thoughts which comes to us. When a thought comes to us, we see the thought, which is, which is prepared. It's prepared. It's ready made. But we don't know from where the thought has originated. We don't know the place. We see the, whole thought, which is, you know which is crafted, which is finally crafted, but from where it has come, we don't know. So, uh, you know so what happens is, spirituality means going into the depth of your thought, going to the place where the thoughts are produced, and after going there with discrimination, negate each and every thought, so that that space where these thoughts are, generated. Thoughts means desires. Any thought is a desire. So any desire is always going to take us to the external world. And when it is going to take us to the external world, it is going to take us away from our self. It is going to take us away from our our nature. It will take us away from, away from us. We will lose ourselves. So, it is very important for us to have those thoughts which will connect us with ourself, with connect us with our existence. We need those thoughts. And we can have those thoughts when the the space where the thoughts are created, that is called the mind, the mind stuff, or the chitta. It's called chitta, all the thoughts are produced where all the thoughts are produced, it's called chitta. So once the chitta is purified, once it is pure, it's cleansed, then the thoughts which comes out of that chitta, or the thoughts which are generated by the chitta, will always, you know will always focus towards the reality, not the non-reality. It will be desire, but this desire will be to attain the self, to take us to the space where there is no desire. It will take us to the place. It will help us. It will guide us. It will guide us to that place where we will be fulfilled, satisfied. We will be fulfilled. We will be satisfied. We will be totally overwhelmed with joy and bliss. So we need this kind of thought. So, how do I have this kind of thoughts? When my chitta or my mind stuff is completely pure. So Janak, Astavakra says that, Janak, a person can do all the spiritual austerities, but what really matters is the power of intention. What he really intends. Because if he does not want to get liberated, any kind of action is not going to yield result. You can do all kinds of action. You can undergo all these sadhanas, all these austerities that Vedanta or the Upanishads tells us. But if you don't have the intention of realizing yourself, athat, and that is why, the first thing which the Vedanta Sutra or the Brahma Sutra says is this desire, this utmost desire to know the self. Once you have this, you know, once you have this desire, that is, that is enough. And this desire for liberation is actually called this that is the that is the that is the one which we need, the desire to liberate, the desire to get liberated from ignorance. That is what we need. Okay, so this is the thing. So we always have to have our intentions very clear. Now we are going to the next one, the next verse. What it says: Dhirastu bhojamanopi piddamanopi sarvada atmanam kevalam pashyan na tushati na kupyati. He said, a person who is a self-realized soul, a self-realized soul may be, may be treated very well. That is, fated well. He might be fated very well, and he might be feeded very well. He might have a very good quality of life, very rich quality of life. He might be living in prosperity, or piddamanopi, or maybe he will lead a very miserable life. It may happen both ways. He might be very very prosperous, very very wealthy, or he might be very very miserable. Both. A spiritual person or an enlightened person may have these two kinds of life depending on the past impressions, depending on his sanskars, depending on the karmas that he has performed in his earlier life. He might be very prosperous, or he might be very miserable. But it says, Atmanam kevalan pashyan na tushyati na kupyati. But he says, because he is self realized, because he is a enlightened soul, he will be the same in every condition, irrespective of any condition. He might be very miserable, or he might be very prosperous, but he will be the same. He will be the same. He will, he will have no, he will be indifferent to the conditions. He will be indifferent to conditions. And what he says, na tushati na kupyati. He will neither be very happy, very excited, or he will not be very angry. He will neither be angry, nor he will be very excited. He will be the same, irrespective of the condition. Like, this is Astavakra Gita. Astavakra Gita Samhita is the dialogue between Astavakra and Janak. Now there is this Shukdev, the son of Vyasa. When Ved Vyasa, when he have written Bhagavatam, when he wrote Bhagavatam, he did not find a suitable person who can propagate this Bhagavatam among masses, because there were no pure very there were very rare, the pure souls were very rare, and he didn't know whom to employ, so that this Bhagavatam, the life of Lord Krishna, that can be propagated within people. So he remembered his son Sukdev, who was a monk, who was a celibate from his very birth. So he wanted to rope in Sukdev, but Sukdev will not listen to. Vyasa. No, I will not go. Vyasa says, come. I'm going to teach you something which is very, very 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 beautiful. It's the life of Lord Krishna. Sukhdev said, "No, no, you are my father. I'm not going there. You are, if I go there, Maya will catch me. I'm not going there." So what Vyasji did was he taught the the woodcutters, the dwellers who were in the forest dwellers who used to go to the forest to collect woods. He taught them few verses of Bhagavatam, and Vyasa told them that when you are going into the forest to collect woods, just sing these verses. So when they used to go to the forest and they used to sing these verses of Bhagavatam, one day Sukdeva heard about it, and he was astonished by the uh, uh, by the praise of Lord Krishna. Such a beautiful praise, such a like splendid, I mean, a piece of art that Vyasa has done. So he asked those people, where did you learn these things? So they said that there's a saint who lives here. He taught us this. So Sukdev followed them, and then he came to Vyasa. And then this discussion started between Vyasa and Sukdev. And Sukdev found that he could understand each and everything that Vyasa would say. All this Brahma Sutra, all this, the self knowledge thing, he understands everything. But he did not have any guru. He did not meditate. He did not do anything. He just went out into the forest. Sukdev said, "How do I know all these things? How do I? This feels like I know all these things from a very long time, maybe from forever." So Vyasa said that you have realized the self, and that is why uh, you don't uh, you don't feel that they are stranger. You feel very similarity with with your feelings. But Sukdev will not agree to him. No, no, you are my father. You are my father, and because you are my father, you are biased, and that is why you are just saying is because I am your son. I did not get self knowledge. I am not a liberated soul. I am not a enlightened soul. So Vyasa, he sent Sukdev to Janak. Vyasa said that, okay, you don't believe me because you think that I am your father, but you believe Janak. No, he's a great soul. He's a great saint. But yes, I believe Janak. So Sukdev, Sukdev was sent to Janak's palace. And for the first 7 days, when Sukdev went to Janak's palace, Janak didn't even meet him. He didn't even talk to him. And he, completely ignored Sukdev. And he told all his people that nobody should pay attention to Sukdev. He should be just left alone, unattended, homeless. Just let him loiter anywhere he likes. Don't pay attention to him. Think that he's a ghost. He's nobody. And people did it for 7 days. And then after 7 days, Janaka said to his people that take care of him as if he's the royal guest. Treat him like a royal guest. Treat him like he's the most important guest we can ever have in our kingdom. Give him all the good food and good comfort and everything. And Sukhdev was kept in that kind of environment with luxury for 7 days. After 7 days, 7 days in completely being ignored, and the next 7 days with overwhelming like care. So after a fortnight, Janak asked Sukhdev to come and meet him. Sukhdev comes, and finds Janak in a pool with many women playing, playing some water sports. And Sukhdev stood there. And from the water itself, Janak said, Sukhdev, you are the you are the most, you know, you are the most, you are the, you know, you are the you are the highest spiritual soul we may have in our lifetime. There is no other spiritual person higher than you, greater than you. You are the greatest spiritual soul we can have. And then he explained why he says this. He explained to Sukhdev, and then Sukhdev understood this. So, you know, what we see is when Sukhdev was not treated well, when he was completely ignored, he was not given a place to stay, to sleep, he was not given food to eat, he was just ignored, left alone on his own in a foreign land. Then also, Sukhdev was the same. He was calm, he was quiet, he was peaceful, contented. And then when he was brought to the royal palace and given this royal give the treatment of royal guest, then also he was calm, he was composed, he was quiet, he was satisfied. There was no change in his behavior, there was no change in his attitude. So this is what a enlightened soul is. He may be in a very miserable state, or he may be in a very, very, prosperous state. In both, he is the same. He says, Tushyati, na tushyati, na kupyati. He doesn't get very excited, neither does he become angry. He's the same. So when will we know that we have really become a self-realized soul? When will we know that we have really become an enlightened soul? When you will see that in any condition you are the same. The conditions may differ. The conditions may differ. They may differ, but you are the same. You are calm. You are quiet. You are composed. You are contented. You are not excited, nor are you angry. You are the same in every situation. So then you will understand that yes, I have realized myself. Okay. Then it says, Cheshtamanam shariram swam pashya anya shariravat sangstave chapi nindayam kathyam shubhet mahashaya. He says that, the self-realized person, the enlightened soul, when he sees his own body, he thinks that this body is not his body. He thinks this body to be somebody else's body. And that is why he takes care of this body, because he does not take care of this body because it is his body. He has got some kind of attachment, for this body. Not that. He takes care of this body knowing that this body belongs to somebody else's. It's not my body. It's not my belonging. It's not my belonging. It's somebody else's. And this is how he, treats his own body. So for these kind of people, for this kind of enlightened soul, what effect it might, if you if you criticize him, or if you praise him. If you praise him or if you criticize him, both are the same. Both are the same, because they are not going to have any special effect. It's all the same for them. Then it says, Maya matra midam vishwam pashyan vigata kautuka api sannihite mrityu kathang trasyati dhiradhi. Now it talks about সুদীপ হালদারকে বলে এখন ফোন না করতে আমার ফোন করছে. So it says, Maya matra midam vishwam pashyan vigata kautuka api sannihite mrityu katham trashyati dhiradhi. He says that, you know, this spiritual person, this spiritual soul, this enlightened soul, they they realize, they know this world to be, you know, to be of ignorance. They know this world to be ignorance. And because of that, because of that, when death comes, when death approaches, they are not scared. Death cannot bring any kind of fear in their mind because they know that, you know, death and birth, both of them are delusion. I am the soul, I am the self. The body is born, the body is born. I am not born. I am there even when the body was not here. And I will be when the body will not be there. It will not change me. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram jauvanam jara. Tatha dehantar prapti dhiras tatra namujjati. He says there are two people, there are two entities. One is the body, and the other is the person who resides within the body. So the body undergoes changes. It takes birth, it becomes a child, it becomes an adult, it becomes old, and at certain point it it has got disease and it cannot withstand that disease, and then it dies. And when it dies, it moves into the next body, another body. So the death is a journey from one body to another body. But here, the only thing that is changing is the body, not the person who is within the body. He does not change. He was there when the body was not here. He was there when the body is here. And he will remain when the body again will not be there. So, you know, uh, a self realized soul, a self realized soul does not have any fear because he knows that there is no death. Any fear that we experience, that fear comes from the perception that I am going to die. The perception of death, the perception of death is the perception of death is the is the cause of all fear. When you know this completely, that you are not going to die, you don't have any death, you are deathless. The day you know this, that you are deathless, you see, you will have no fear at all. You will become completely fearless. So it says that a person who is, bigata kautuka, who does not have any interest in this world. Why? Why does not he have any interest in this world, in this external world? Because he knows that this external world is the product of Maya. It is seen in this way, but it is not what it is seen. It is something else. I see this world like this, but the world is not like this. The world is the self. Because of Maya, it appears like this. So when it is appearing like this, it is not that. It is actually that, the one which is behind this, which is behind this. That is the truth. That is the truth. So a person who knows that truth does not get deluded with this world. And because he is not deluded with this world, he does not get, he does not get attached to this world. He is dispassionate. And that is why, even when death approaches, even when death approaches, he, it does not make any difference to him. He is free from any fear. Is free from any fear. Okay, so this is the the character of a self-realized soul. Now you have to see within yourself, do you have fear? If you have fear, any kind of fear, if you have any kind of fear, know that your knowledge is not complete. You have not reached that state where you can say that I have attained that state of knowledge. I have attained that state of, you know, I have attained the realization of the self. I know myself. You might have a glimpse of that. You might have a glimpse of that, from a distance. And that glimpse might feel to be a realization. But if you have the real realization, you will have no fear. You will have no fear. You will have no attachment towards this world because you will know that this world is all but Maya. You will not be excited with this world. When you see this world, you know that this is all Maya. This is all Maya. So, you know, this is the thing. Now, next. Nishpriyam manasang yasya naira shepi mahatmana tasya atmagyana triptasya tulana kena jayate. Well, how will you compare a person? How will you compare a person who is completely desireless? Nishpriyam. He does not have any desire. Nishpriyam manasam yasa, whose mind is completely desireless. Have you seen a person who has no desire? Everybody has desire. Everybody is desire. Everybody is running to, fulfill their desire. Now there is a man who does not have any desire in his mind. Nishpriyam manasam yasya. A person whose mind is free from any desire. Naira shepi mahatmana. And he does not have any kind of attachment. He does not have any kind of attachment and he does not have any kind of desire. Any kind of desire. This person is called Mahatman. He is the real soul. He is the real soul. Okay? And tasya atma jnana triptasya is always satisfied with the knowledge of the self. He's always peaceful. He's always contented. He's always contented with the knowledge of the self. He does not have any attachment. He does not have any desire. He does not have any attachment. He does not have any desire. He is completely satisfied with his knowledge. That knowledge gives him everything. We have discussed that knowledge is abundance. Knowledge is prosperity. Knowledge is peace. Knowledge is bliss. Knowledge is bliss. Knowledge is liberation. Knowledge is mukti. Knowledge is truth. Knowledge is truth. And I am that knowledge. I am that knowledge. So one who has the knowledge about his own self and who is contented. Tulana kena jayate. How will you compare this man to any other person? You will not find another soul like this. Everybody has got something or the other. Everybody needs something or the other. Everybody is attached to something or other. But here is a man who does not have any attachment, who does not have any desire, who is contented in his own self. Atmanaivatmana tushta. Atmanaivatmana tushta. He is contented in his own self. His own self. Nastir buddhir yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana. Nacha bhava yata shanti ashantasya kuto sukham. Yesterday when we were discussing, we discussed this one also. It's from Bhagavad Gita. He says that if a person does not have self-knowledge, then he cannot meditate. If he cannot meditate, he will not have serenity, peace. And if he does not have peace, he will not have, well-being. He will not have well-being. So when we talk about spirituality, we say that spirituality is the is the path by which we attain self-knowledge. We attain liberation. This is what we talk about spirituality. But what we don't know is this, that spirituality is the path which completely, which directly deals with our well-being. It talks about the quality of life. It's very, very, connected with our quality of life. All this liberation, knowledge, these are all, these are useless if I am not happy. If I am not happy. So the real reason why a person, dedicates himself into the path of spirituality is because he wants to become happy and he really becomes happy. Spirituality is the only way, only path which leads to happiness. There's no other way. Spirituality is the only path by which you can enjoy this world. If you don't have a calm mind, if you don't have, if you don't have a serene mind, how will you enjoy? You have a car. You have a very, very costly car. You have a costly house. But you are not peaceful. You don't have any peace of mind. You cannot drive this car. Forget about enjoying. You cannot even, drive this car. You cannot stay in the house. You cannot stay in the house. By being restless, you cannot stay in the house. You will just go out. You will just go out. So, to enjoy, you need a serene mind. You need a peaceful mind. And spirituality gives you that spiritual mind. So when you talk about spirituality, when somebody asks you, why are you doing this spiritual practice? You say, I want to enjoy this world. That is why I am practicing spirituality. I am not practicing spirituality because I want to become a monk or I want to sacrifice. No, I want to attain liberation. I want to attain. No, no, no. I want to attain self knowledge, something which cannot be known. No, I don't want this. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy my life. Asantasya kuto sukham. If you are not peaceful, where from you will enjoy? So spirituality, teaches you to enjoy your life. And now, Savavadeva Janano Drishametanya Kinchana Idam Grahyamidam Tyajam Sakim Pashyati Dhiradhi. He says that, you know, Savavadeva Janano Drishametanya Kinchana means a person who knows that whatever I am seeing in front of my eyes, it's nothing. It's all false. It's all false. The reality is beyond this. A person who knows this. Idam grayam idam tyajam sakim pashyati dhiradi. This person, this, dhiradi, this knowledgeable person, this wise man, idam grayam idam tyajam, he knows what he has to, what he has to, he has to, what he has to, এটা কি বলে ত্যাগকে কি বলে oh, not sacrifice. What is to reject? What he has to reject and what he has to accept. He does not have any rejection. He does not have any acceptance. Everything is the same for him. A person who knows, this world to be nothing other than false. Whatever I see in this world is all false. So, either he does not accept anything or reject anything, or you can say he accepts and rejects everything. He does not have any acceptance. He does not have any rejection. Everything, whatever is happening for him because he knows everything is false. Everything is false, and that is why he does not get so much, so much involved in any of this. And the last one, the last verse of the third chapter. अंतस्यक्त काशयस्य निर्दन्दस्य निराशीष यदृच्छाया गतो भोगो न दुखाय न तुष्टये. It talks about the self knowledge. It talks about the enlightened soul. How an enlightened, what is the character? What is the character of an enlightened soul? Antyasakta Kashayasya, whose mind is completely full of peace, inner peace, whose mind is completely full of inner peace. He does not have peace from the external world. So what does it mean that I don't have peace from the external world? Means he does not extract peace from the attainments or results of his actions. His peace is inherent, inherent within him. It's there. He has found that source, perennial source of peace. He has found that perennial source of peace, and this perennial source of peace never ceases. It's always there. It always yields peace to him. He has found that perennial source of peace. And nirdandasya nirashisha, and who has gone beyond these contradictions of good and bad, profit and loss, positive, negative, these contradictions. The life is full of contradictions. We say that the life is full of contradictions. Where there is good, there is bad. Where there is profit, there is loss. So everywhere there is contradictions. Now, people get, involved in this. Somehow they get, tied, bogged down in these contradictions. There is a few who can get rid of these contradictions. So one who has gotten rid of these contradictions, nirdandasya nirashisha, and one who does not have any desire, who does not have any attachment, who does not have any desire in this world. This is a self-realized soul. Yadrichaya gato bhogo. He enjoys anything which comes his way. He does not. He does not go for something. He does not go for something. Whatever comes his way, somebody gave something to him. Something came out. Whatever happens, he accepts those. Yet he accepts those. He enjoys those. Yadrichaya gato bhogo na dukhaya na tushtaye. These people, this enlightened soul, they don't remorse or they don't become excited. They are always the same. So, this is the end of the third chapter. I hope that it helped you, and if it helped you, it will be a matter of joy for all of us. So, if you have any question, you can ask. Yes. You know, when you when you are in the path of self knowledge, you are guided by your instincts. The knowledge which is within you, that guides you. When we talk about contradictions, yes and no, this yes and no does not come from knowledge, it comes from ignorance. This, state of this state of you know uh, where we cannot figure out what to do and what not to. The state of uncertainty. The state of uncertainty is the result of ignorance. It's not the result of knowledge. Okay. Then attachment in this world, attachment into this world. You know, when I get attached to this world, then then I become blindfolded. You don't see the truth. You are blindfolded, and at some point or the other, you are going to feel that you have made a mistake. Maybe, when you are attached, you don't feel that. You think that it's the right thing to do because because it feels right. But at some point, you might see that this was not right for you. This attachment is not healthy. It's toxic. So anything, anything worldly is going to provide, substantial amount of chaosness within your system. Once you are walking in the path of spirituality, when you listen to the words of the master and allow those words to resonate within you, within your heart, to work, to allow those words to work within your heart, you accept those words, then you see another world has uncovered within you. And you see a very definite guidance towards light, towards positivity, towards certainty. The life is uncertain. Every time we are hanging in a state of uncertainty. But when you are walking in the path of spirituality, you see that you are not, that state of uncertainty has left you. You feel grounded, you feel stable, you feel very assured about yourself, you feel everything to be true, everything to be certain. And these feelings leads you into deeper and deeper aspects of realization of your own entity, realization of your own self. And you feel more and more grounded, you feel more and more happy, you feel more and more at ease, at home. And at one point, when you realize yourself, you see that you have you know you have attained the state of equilibrium with everything in this universe, not only with yourself. Equilibrium with, wherever you go, instantly you find a balance, instantly you find a connection. You might know somebody, you might not know somebody, you might like somebody, you might not like somebody. But when you have realized yourself, you see somehow there is a connection which creates. Somehow you are connected with everything, and that makes your life really, very purposeful, very eventful, and very, delightful. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Missed you for some classes. Yeah, that is the thing. That is the basic purpose of sadhana of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta will not never tell you to close your eyes, or shut your ears, or shut down your senses, or shut down your mind. It will tell you to use them properly, to understand, to see properly, to hear properly. It will not tell you to stop hearing, or stop seeing, or stop thinking. Okay, it will tell you to think something which really gives you substance, where you can have something. Most of the time what happens is that whatever we use, we use our senses, we use our mind, we use our intellect, and you know it's not using. We actually invest our mind, we invest our intellect, we invest our senses, we invest our everything, our knowledge that we have, and the return that we have, the return that we get, after some time, after a period of time, we see that the return does not have any value for us. It does not carry any value. Then we think that we again jump for something more. We again jump for something more. So and all our life we have been attaining things. We have been attaining things, but after a period of time, these things becomes very trivial and useless. So, when I start my journey into this life, my hands were empty. And I have worked my whole life. And after I come to the fact end of my life, I see after all these hardships, I find myself again empty. So now the question is, what did what did I earn? Ultimately, nothing. So this is what, this is the story of everybody. We do things with a great zeal, with a great enthusiasm, but at the end of the day, when we see that what did we actually earn, we see that we have earned nothing. So Vedanta says that you should invest your mind, you should invest your intellect, you should invest your senses in such a way that you can gain substance, you can have something when you are going back. So what is that? That is the spiritual wealth, spiritual knowledge. So how will you have this spiritual knowledge? It says that you know uh, uh, it says that you have to see everything very clearly. You have to see everything very clearly, and after seeing everything very clearly, you have to find out the faults. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that what you should do is that you should not refrain yourself from taking birth. You should not refrain yourself from dying. You should not retreat from any of the worldly events. You should go there. You should see everything, but you have to find the fault where every life events is not complete on its own. They are all relative, and because they are all relative, they are all faulty. So you need to find that fault into them, and then you can go for the solution. Till you have not figured out that this world is false, everything in this world is apparent, it's not what it seems to be, you will never be able to commence a journey towards truth. To commence a journey towards truth, you should be very very sure, you should be very very convinced that this world is false. And to be convinced this world is false, you need to apply your senses, you need to apply your mind direction, in the right direction, And that is what Vedanta says. Vedanta will never tell you to stop looking, to stop engaging, to stop working. Vedanta will tell you to work, but work in such a way that this work becomes a yoga. You should attain the state of karma yoga. You should not work only for work's sake. You should not keep working forever. You should work so that you can attain the state of yoga. So, this is the thing. Hello. Actually, this phone comes, তো সুদীপ তোকে বলতো না ফোন করতে বললাম যে ক্লাস হচ্ছে there is a guy who is just calling, he's got some program tomorrow morning, so we told him not to call, but he still, and when the call comes, then I think that the words gets uh, somehow overlapped. Did you hear whatever I said? Okay, so what I was saying is that uh, Vedanta will never tell you to stop looking. Vedanta will never tell you to stop, stop doing or engaging. Rather, Vedanta will encourage you to work, to engage, to employ all your, all your, all your wealth, or what do you say, all your capital into this world, and work in such a way that you attain the state of karma yoga. That is, you attain you work so that you can attain the state of fulfillment. Vedanta does not encourage you only to keep working for your whole life. Vedanta will tell you to you search a way by which you are going to work, but with this work you are going to attain, you know uh, completeness. You're going to attain fulfillment, satisfaction, peace, bliss. So this is the basic idea of Vedanta, and that is why Krishna also, in the Bhagavad Gita, he talked about karma yoga. He said that it is better to work rather than not to work. If you don't work, you are actually harming yourself. You're harming your body, you're harming everything, you're harming your destiny. So you need to work. So Vedanta will never encourage you to stop doing things which you are supposed to do. But Vedanta will tell you that while you do these things, you need to figure out whether this is the only reality, this is the only thing that has to be done, or there is something else which we can all do, or there is something better than that. Something better than them. Maybe there is a higher truth. Maybe there is a higher purpose of life. Not only this, whatever we are doing. Maybe our purpose of life is a little bit different, little bit better, little bit higher. We might not know. We might not see. Maybe there is something which is beyond, beyond things which are seen. Maybe the reality is completely different from what it appears. So Vedanta, encourage us to have these kind of questions and to search the answers of these questions. And once you have these questions, you will find the answer. When you go to the guru will always, uh, try to raise questions out of you. Guru will not impose anything. Guru will not tell you, hey, you listen to me, what I'm saying, this is the only reality. No. Guru will talk to you in such a way so that it creates questions. It creates doubts within you. If your mind is full of doubt, your mind is full of questions, and you ask these questions, and then you get the answers. The answers the are actually, you know, are actually within the question. The answer lies within the question. So